Welcome to the Lowdown, presented by Best Base Gear. As usual, Eric and I are here, and we are super stoked to have Richard Donor of Donor Designs here today. Hello, Richard. How are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Doing good.
So we're excited to have you for. I mean, one, we usually we have a lot of builders on here, but what you and your dad do with with your business or company is really interesting. If you wouldn't mind sharing some of that with us, that'd be really great.
Yeah. So just to give a little bit of background, I guess. So Donor Designs, our company is, we've been donating guitars to charity auctions for the last almost 10 years now. I think it's been since around 2012. And kind of our unique spin is that, these charity auctions are, often benefiting sick children, such as Make-A-Wish Foundation, JDRF, the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. And we always try to do a fun theme with them. So we had the Fight Back theme. So it's playing into, sick children fighting back against their illnesses. So we did a military theme. And more recently, after doing some of those themes, we started branching out a little bit. So our most recent one was our Time Machine bass, which we, played into, making a connection with the Back to the Future movie by donating the proceeds to the Michael J. Fox Parkinson's Foundation. So that's kind of a little bit of background. We're trying to do good while, having fun building guitars and basses.
That is really, really super cool. And how did you guys get the idea to think that would be like how did you just come about, saying, hey, let's do this,
Yeah, it really started with my dad who, kind of came up with the idea initially. So he, started playing bass around, the time that I was in middle school. So I picked up the guitar on my own. I was learning using, YouTube videos and whatnot. So he kind of wanted to be able to jam with me and all that. So he started playing bass at that time. And he'd always been a guy who liked to tinker with stuff. He liked to build stuff. And he had a pro audio background a little bit. He used to be a DJ back in his younger years. And he used to work at a radio store too. So he kind of had all the skills to kind of go in and start modifying his basses. And he's kind of like I said, a guy who likes to tinker with stuff. So he started modifying his basses. You could probably find him on our website or Instagram, where he just put in a bunch of different on-off switches or coil switching for 4 different humbuckers and all this crazy stuff. So it's all well and good to kind of do that, but I think he wanted to start, doing a little bit more with it than just, for his own hobby and for own personal use. So kind of where the charity aspect came in, around, that 2012 sort of range. We had a family friend who was around my age who had recently passed away from different complications that she was dealing with due to cancer. So she'd always wanted to learn guitar, and she had, talked about, the way that she would have liked it to look, a guitar that she had. So my dad got the idea of, hey, let's bring her family in and we'll build a guitar together. It'll look like, the way that she would have liked it, with the colors, and it had like a leopard skin pick guard, which is really cool, or leopard print. Not real. And
yeah, I don't want to get the PETA people upset with us.
Yeah, exactly. Although we did make for our Marines guitar, we did have a, the section of a uniform cut out to make a pickguard in the camp.
So cool. They've got the best uniform, in my opinion, at least, hands down anyway.
Yeah,
awesome.
There's a lot that you can do with pickguards with doing design. Yeah. So anyway, so we kind of made that with her family, and then we decided, we wanted to keep doing this kind of making guitars for a good cause. Donating them to Make-A-Wish Foundation and different organizations like that. So just started reaching out to people, and I guess the military connection was that she had also wanted to be in the military, in the Army. So we made this Army guitar that kind of looked like a tank. It had big bolts sticking out of it. It was the Army green. So really cool, kind of how that started. And then we just kept doing more more, and it was just like a fun activity for us.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, people gotta see these because like they're just like crazy. Like I love the Navy one that looks like an aircraft carrier, and I love the detail like when you flip it around the back, and the propellers there, and the anchor. It's just so neat.
Oh yeah, that one might be my favorite of all of the ones we've done. The machine has a special place in my heart just because it was like I put so much blood, sweat, and tears into that while I was in college. But the aircraft carrier, I think, is the one that looks the best to me.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like just the pick guard and like the the little cutouts of the jets and everything.
Yeah, I don't know if it's got the signature on there yet. I don't.
Oh, I think it does. I think yeah, if you could explain what whose signature is on there, I thought that was like incredibly
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just wasn't in that top picture. So that's Jim Lovell, the I don't know if the term's captain or commander of Apollo 13. So let's see, was that one? I think that one was after we did our space shuttle guitar. Basically, my dad was taking bass lessons from our mailman, who just a really great bass player, guitar player, and they were just talking like, hey, my girlfriend or someone like that used to work for Jim Lovell. I could see if we could link you two up, and he could sign the guitar or the bass. So that's kind of how that connection happened. So we just reached out to him, and he signed, this one, which is the aircraft carrier, and then the space shuttle guitar that we made. And kind of the connection with the aircraft carrier. If you've seen in Jim Lovell, he was obviously, he used to fly fighter jets. But in Apollo 13, he tells this, or Tom Hanks, who plays Jim Lovell,
right,
tells the story of how he tries to land on an aircraft carrier, and the lights were dead, so he didn't know where he was supposed to land. See that there was like some bioluminescent algae that was being stirred up by the propeller. So by looking at that like algae trail, he was able to land on the aircraft carrier. So we thought that that was enough of a connection where Jim Lovell signing it would be really cool. So it's a true story. I didn't get to meet him. I think I had some stuff going on with school, but my dad did, which was really great. And he was a big, growing up in the 60s, 70s, was a big fan of the Apollo program. So that was really cool for him too.
That's just like such a cool tie-in, and it's really neat how things can seem so coincidental too, and how one thing leads to another as well. Like this, it's just crazy.
Right. Yeah, and we were trying to get Michael J. Fox to sign the Time Machine bass. We were thinking that they all have to be signed from now on, but didn't get that to happen. But we'll see what happens in the future.
I saw videos with it. You guys bring that to like NAMM because I saw a little video with like Billy Sheehan was playing. He looked like he was pretty amused by it, which I thought. The Time Machine
I think
bass.
that was the Time Machine bass. I think my dad brought it to Sweetwater has a gear fest.
Oh, that makes total sense. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're based out of Chicago, so going over to Indiana where they're based, they set up all these tents outdoors, and they've got a bunch of booths with musicians demoing gear and stuff. So he went out there and he ran into Billy Sheehan while he was there. It was really cool.
Anybody who's like seeing this bass at home, if you go online and find some videos and some other photos of it, what's really neat is all this stuff works. Like like the destination ends up goes like 1985, and the flux capacitor fluctuates, and where you see all the circuitry, the circuit boards underneath the strings, like that's actually in a cavity, and there's this like really circuitry under there, and in the control cavity. It's just really just well done, just super cool. If there was a way to mass produce them, I think everybody would want one.
No, I loved working on that one. Like I was saying, I started on that one. So I studied electrical engineering in school, and I started this when I was pretty early on. So if I had to redo the electronics in there for the you can change year to whatever you want, and the flux capacitor, it looked a lot prettier, more compact. I guess it kind of goes with the aesthetic of the movie, where there's all these wires all over the place, and it looks kind of grungy and dirty. So
very much, yeah.
It turned out it was kind of crazy making that one, because I was working on the electronics on my own for a while. I think it was a couple months or something like that. And then when it came to actually putting them in the guitar, you know, they'd been sitting on the desk for a while. So I turned it on, it wasn't working, and I fixed it, you know, and it started working again. I put them in the guitar, got everything connected, and then they weren't working at all.
Well, I mean, honestly, it sounds a lot like the time machine in the movie. Honestly, it kind of,
yeah, exactly. You kind of had to whack it to get it and everything. So yeah, that was kind of a freak out moment where, you know, it ended up being just one little connection somewhere buried in there. So
yeah, it just works out great too. Like the Iceman shape and like, you know, the DeLorean stainless steel sort of finish. It's just perfect. It's just so cool.
Right. Yeah, I can't remember. We always try to do something different and one up ourselves. So I think with the electronics that we did for that one, after doing the aircraft carrier, it was like, you know, we got really big because that one was big on, you know, the graphics and everything. So this one's kind of bigger on the electronics. And they always, you know, they always play great. They're always playable. So that's kind of the hard part to work around.
Right.
But yeah, so that's we always try to one up ourselves, and you know, we're really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, you should be. It's really awesome. Maybe any plans of doing any other time machines in the future, like maybe like doing a TARDIS console base or something?
Yeah, we always try to do something different. I mean, it's with that one, we got such a great response. I think, you know, the way that 80s and 90s nostalgia is so big and kind of playing into, you know, we don't call it the Back to the Future guitar, but it's obviously inspired by that. And we actually, the first time we brought it to Sweetwater, we were taking pictures, and we brought it through their warehouse. And the coolest thing for me, one of the coolest things, you know, being part of Donor Designs, was just, we took it through the warehouse. We just got swarmed by all the guys working in there. They're like, what is that? Like,
well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if you're a music geek and you're also a science fiction geek, you know, I mean, what could be better than this? You know, I mean, I don't know how you top this thing.
Exactly. Kind of, you know, I think a lot of the people who are into guitars and modifications are also into that sort of thing. So
seems that way. So do you guys ever make instruments either like to keep for yourself or to sell also, or you just completely, which again is awesome. This is, you know, if you completely just focus on, you know, on the charitable thing, that's an incredibly cool, you know, thing to do. You're just curious. I mean, do you ever get to keep one? I guess is my question.
Yeah, no, we definitely make them for ourselves, and most of them are, you know, a lot simpler, at least from a design standpoint. We just kind of make them the way that we like, with, you know, nice wood finishes and binding and whatnot. My dad, I don't know how many bases he's made for himself at this point, probably 10. He's got, you know, five or so in his office right now. So he usually, you know, he buys like nice, you know, wood bodies and necks, and kind of, he might finish them, or, you know, he always does unique things with the electronics in them. But yeah, he's sold a couple at this point to other people. You know, some musicians who want a nice, you know, handcrafted instrument that's, you know, made exactly the way they like. And, you know, we're not going to charge $10,000-$20,000 like a lot of, you know, luthiers might do. So that's kind of, you know, what he's doing. And I've made a few for myself as well. I've made a couple that are, you know, same sort of thing, nice finishes, you know, natural wood sort of thing. But I also made in high school a replica of Eddie Van Halen's Strat.
Awesome.
Black one. So that one, he's one of my favorite guitarists, you know, someone who I listened to growing up. So that one was a lot of fun to make, just doing the paint job on that. I kind of all this hunting on the internet for pictures of, you know, the front and the back of the guitar. It's really hard to find a picture of the back of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to have the stripes just like he had on the, you know, on his guitar. So I made the white and black one using an old Squier body, and, you know, I didn't end up playing it that much, but it was a lot of fun to make and put a lot of time into it.
No, no, I forget. I know on his red, white, and black one, like for instance, he just like took the 5-way switch, the pickup he wasn't using, and kind of still mounted them in the bass, in the guitar, almost like an effort in a way, like one of it almost makes it look more like looks sort of steampunkish, but it almost seemed like it was a way to like, well, hey, maybe I don't want to lose these parts. I should just attach them to the guitar, even though I'm not using them. It just seems like that to me.
Yeah, I think at that point, when he painted the red over the white and black one, he kind of was when he went off the deep end with all these like crazy mods to it. But like the white and black one was more or less like a normal Strat, so that's where I went with it. But yeah, it's just got the one pickup in the bridge, and that's the only pickup he would really play anyways.
So obviously I would imagine that growing up with your dad and having like a workshop around, I would imagine that must have contributed to your getting interested in electrical engineering and just engineering in general. I mean, just probably some of that to some degree, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. I think my dad would have made a great engineer, and he really has that mind. So kind of the way that he would show me things really helped with that, and just the way that I would think about building stuff. But yeah, we kind of would build stuff together growing up, like, just things out of, like, we made a workbench together and made some other things. So like when it came to the guitars, like building them together wasn't, too much different than what we'd done before. But yeah, kind of when I was trying to decide what I do going into school, I was thinking like mechanical engineering, but the way that we'd kind of done electronics for guitars, that really got me interested in the electrical side of things. And I think thinking about those things when I was making the guitars really, was what pushed me in that direction. And it also, it kind of goes the other way. Like with studying engineering or electrical engineering, it helped a lot with making the time machine, but also like, you learn a lot about signals and circuits and how like your pickups and your capacitors and your potentiometers matter. They probably matter a lot more than whether you've got a flame maple top or a quilt maple top.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that would disagree about that. I'm not one of them. I mean, I think ultimately, and again, feel free to disagree and comment. Anyone who wants to comment on this when this actually was. But I mean, it's like, I think if you have for the most part a solid body instrument and magnetic pickups, I think most of it is happening in that realm. I mean, obviously, like I think the overall rigidity of the instrument plays a role in terms of just how much of like how much of the string energy is actually returned. Obviously like a less stable instrument probably like eats up more of that string energy. It seemed to me, but that sort of thing. But I think most of it's happening electronically, honestly.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, with electric, instruments, it's you've got a signal, and even a few microfarads can make a difference, and that's kind of the thing you learn when you're troubleshooting a circuit, trying to do something complicated and it doesn't work, and you flip capacitor and it does work, that sort of thing. So, I think that studying electrical engineering definitely made me appreciate that more and think about with the tone wood state, how that affects that. And yeah, I'm same as you. I think for solid body guitars, it's a lot of it's the wood doesn't make too much of a difference in cases, especially if there's just minor differences in the wood type. But it's a totally different game for acoustic instruments, whether it's basses, guitars, the resonance of, and then the type of wood, or even the variety of whatever it is, maple that you pull from. That's why people pay so much for those custom acoustic guitars, for that sort of thing. But I think, for electrics, it's not as big of a deal, and you can make a much bigger impact if you just change your strings more often. Or if you try swapping out your pickups, or get a new bridge will really help you with your sustain. Since we've gotten so much exposure over the past almost 10 years now, we've got so many sponsors of different parts who want to have they want us to use their parts on our guitars and basses, and we've always are using top of the line parts, pickups and bridges and tuners and pickguards and whatnot. So even those, the main goal of ours is to look cool and to, draw attention with the designs and be for a good cause. Like they always play good as well and sound good, which is important to us because we want, like to show it to Billy Sheehan and have him, be able to play it and say, oh, it sounds good. It plays good.
Yeah, he played it for quite a while too. I think he was like really enjoying it. Like he just got like,
yeah,
I'm digging this,
Yeah, he seemed to be enjoying himself. I wish I could have been there.
Oh, no doubt. What are you guys working on now? Like any like what are you working on? What's it supporting? That sort of thing.
Yeah, I think after the Time Machine bass, we were putting a lot of time into just getting exposure and making sure that it sold to the right person. So we've been kind of in the meantime working on our new concept. That's still in the early stages, but it's basically we're calling it the Road Warrior bass. Well, it's actually a bass guitar hybrid. So you can check it out on our Instagram or Facebook page, The Work in Progress. So it's based off of from the Mad Max Fury Road movie, if you've seen that, the newer one. There's this guy who's kind of at the front of like the caravan of these, beat up cars that's he's playing a guitar. It's like a double necked that has a flamethrower on it. So
oh my gosh,
we're making a double neck guitar with a flamethrower.
I actually read some article about that somewhere, that particular, like that character actually has a name in the movie, and I can't remember what the character's name is now. It's like a really silly name, if I remember.
Yeah, I can't remember it off the top of my head, either, but it's when we're talking about trying to top ourselves, putting a guitars is kind of I think it'll fit the bill. So
so maybe eventually there'll be like like a Blade Runner bass or a Cyberpunk 2077 bass or something.
Yeah, cyberpunk, steampunk, those are two things that have been done before. So we want to do something unique, but something we thought about. So like going with the Road Warrior theme, we've got pages on it for speed and fuel and that sort of thing, in addition to flamethrower to kind of go with the car theme for Mad Max. So just doing double neck is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, you can't miss with like dystopian future kind of things that just kind of people dig that for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I think when we do end up doing a demo and we're shooting flames out of it, that'll draw some excitement too.
Just keep the flames away from the strings and you'll be all set. Pretty much.
Yeah. When we do come around to finishing that one up, I'm sure we're gonna, have some really cool videos coming of using the flamethrower and also doing some cool things with, probably, the fact that it's a double neck, we want to, loop over itself or something like that for a demo and do something really cool. So.
My goodness. Well, my gosh. I mean, this has been awesome. And
this is fun.
Definitely we'll make sure we have all your information so folks know how to get in touch with you and how to support your causes and all that, because what you and your dad are doing is, it's so cool to talk about this stuff and look at it, but also just the fact that it's all going to a great going to great causes. I just think that's just so cool, just how selfless that really is, and what a geez, if people haven't told you that's really cool, it's really cool, and you should be really proud of yourselves. I mean, seriously.
Well, I think it's one of the most popular Bass of the Week articles, that we've ever done, and then some of the feedback that we've seen that's coming through, like the comments that come back on the blog. It's really cool. So I'm pretty excited about seeing some of the new stuff that's coming out too, one of these days. And obviously we'd love to be able to have a conversation about that too, and have you guys back on. I think that would be cool. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe we can be on together sometime. But yeah, this was great talking to you guys. Yeah, it's something we're going to be doing. We're going to keep doing it because it's, like you said, it's for a great cause and we really enjoy it. And we, an awesome response. Whether it's Bass of the Week or radio, podcasts, all that good stuff. So it's awesome to see the response that it gets.
Awesome.
If someone offered you the right amount of money, would you try to remake this?
The Time Machine?
Yeah. Is there enough money to go through that again? I guess is big.
Frankie's seriously considering it. Right.
The wheels are turning. You can see it through the hat, right? I mean, the wheels are just kind of. You can see the cogs kind of bumping into the fabric up there. The hamsters.
Yeah, I mean, we really, you know, we always make, you know, when we donate them, they always draw a really good amount of money when we donate. So I think, you know, we really want to do something new every time.
I understand.
You know, but there's some right amount of money for everything. So
it's the right answer, I think. Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, some let's just say, like, you know, some billionaire industrialist maybe owns, you know, some, you know, maybe an engineer himself, maybe owns, like, you know, some sort of I don't know, military-based business. Maybe he, you know, needs something to go with his, you know, fancy suit that he flies around with. I mean, maybe he wants something like that, you know.
Yeah, well, I feel like Elon Musk,
project,
Back to the Future, he seems like a nerdy guy that might be up his alley. So if he offered us a couple billion, you know, we might consider it.
This was great. Like I said, we're gonna have you back on, and thanks for joining us and spending some time. This was really cool. We're gonna have to do it again.
Yeah, great stuff, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you bet. Yeah, I could go all day. Thank you so much for being here, and love to have you back again. It'd be super cool.